So our gospel scene opens today with the calling of Matthew. He's sitting there at the tax booth as a compromised man from an oppressed class, working hard on behalf of his overlords to extract resources from his own people, because he is vulnerable and afraid, just like the rest of them. He doesn't have any better options. Okay, that's one possible version of this guy at the tax booth. And here's another. He's a loathsome, opportunistic, self-serving jerk who will reinforce the misery of others if it benefits him, and sleep just fine at night. He's that guy. Either way, whether he's the victim or the perpetrator or a little bit of both, Jesus sees him and just says, "Follow me." Jesus sees him. It just says he saw a man named Matthew and invites him back into the circumference of belonging. And Matthew appears to jump at the chance to be restored. How magnetic must Jesus have been? Just like any of the rest of us might do if we were invited in such a way, if we were seen as ourselves at our best, not viewed through the lens of who we might be at our worst. If you hear nothing else of this sermon, if you choose to space out right now, you can just completely check out. Please just take this with you. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Just let it ring inside your head. We will be listening to the Gospel of Matthew all summer and encountering this particular brand of what we would call restorative mercy over and over. So how might this direct our footsteps? Where are we going? The first thing Jesus does next is throw a party, or he attends one, we don't know. He invites his friends, who appear to be all complete losers. They are just absolute losers. We love that. They are literally the worst. If Matthew was an unlikely person to be called, so are the rest of these undesirables. "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" the Pharisees asked. Why? Why does he eat with these people? Why does he want to eat with us? Maybe they feel a little hurt. I'm not invited. Who says you weren't invited? Are you sure? Are you sure you guys weren't invited? Not so sure about that. They think well of themselves, and they want to know why he wants to eat with them. "I desire mercy, not sacrifice," he says. "It's the sick who need a doctor. Are you a doctor? No? Well, I am," he implies. "I have the medicine, and the medicine is eleos. It's mercy." But what if these people are not just sinners, but, whole people with complicated motives and lives? Who are they? In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus named them, "Blessed are they." But this is a little different. The tax collectors are participating in the domination, or at least the discomfort, of others. How many of them are caught up in something too big for themselves, maybe? Perhaps they too owe money and are caught in a system they cannot get out of, effectively enslaved in it. How about the sinners? How often are sinners people who are too poor to participate in the religious life of the temple, or simply othered as people on whom there is demand for something normative that they cannot be or produce? How often are sinners not much more than people we judge, find unacceptable, or just don't like? So let me take it a little bit further for a minute. What if these are the people who are truly awful? Just let them be the worst. Who is that? Hopefully it's like no one in your family that's coming to mind. Like really awful people. Let me help. Like the people who intentionally get kids addicted to screens and substances of all kinds. Intentionally. We're going to make money off their addictions, and we don't care. Or people who try to scam money out of the elderly by preying on loneliness and vulnerability. What if these people are the ones who rely on violence to make money, or traffic human bodies across boundaries, or whatever? Because there are people in the world who are bad actors, and demanding accountability and holding a boundary, or just go for broke, wanting justice, actual justice, is a perfectly fine and necessary thing to do. never stop wanting that. What if these people Jesus gathers around himself and his disciples are not people who a little bit cheated on their taxes and feel kind of guilty? They're actually the worst of the worst. So how do we feel about them now? How do we feel about Jesus now? Here's the thing. It does not actually matter. It cannot actually matter to us, to me, who they are or what they have done or not done in the eyes of the Pharisees or anyone else. Jesus invites them in. Sit at my table, he says. You belong. You deserve to be included. Let me remind you of who you are, who you were, who I know you want to be. What happens to someone in front of a love like that? No questions asked. What happens? When was the last time somebody looked at you and you know everything you've done? You know all your failings, your mistakes, and they just look at you like they just love you. What is that like? Is there anybody who doesn't deserve to be looked at like that? And why does Jesus answer their question? Why? Why does he eat with them? With an incredible economy of words, he cuts straight to talking about mercy. Because God is merciful. Prophet Hosea, I desire mercy. I don't want your burnt offerings if that's all you've got. God is merciful, and Jesus is a reflection of who God is. To follow Jesus, and remember, he said to Matthew, follow me, means to practice mercy when you have to choose between mercy and the rules, mercy and the law, mercy and the customs, habits, or practices that keep us removed from mess and reinforce our groupthink and the fleeting security we think it's going to bring us. Eleos, this is the heart of it. This is the heart of it. This, eleos, is what is at the heart of it. And it's what carries us into the next scene. We meet a leader of the synagogue. Suddenly, you're going to hear this word suddenly twice. You're also going to hear the word daughter twice if you pull it out and look at it. Suddenly, a man who appears to love his daughter so much that he will sacrifice status, lose face publicly, and kneel in front of Jesus for help. Kneel in front of a bunch of sinners and tax collectors too. Don't forget, they're still in the room. Jesus, who rejects the exclusionary and transactional practices of the synagogue, sacrifice, burnt offerings without mercy. Those may have been the very things that dumped so many of his dinner guests into the sinner category in the first place. He's approached at dinner by a man who's out of ideas, much less medicine. The daughter is indeed literally in need of a physician, for she's really sick. But it's the leader of the synagogue who's queuing up for medicine too. Nothing he has in his bag will work. No ritual, no sacrifice, no riches, no social status, nothing will protect his daughter from early death or protect him from a shattered and broken heart. So he turns to Jesus. Presumably that's familiar to some of us as well. As he follows this man, Jesus follows also. What's he following? An invitation to mercy. As he follows, there's a woman who comes up to him, like the leader, suddenly, but not right in front of him. These are dynamic, unexpected interruptions. This word suddenly keeps poking into our story. She sneaks up behind Jesus. She comes in secret. By her faith, she reaches. She takes a healing, a blessing. She somehow still knows that she gets to do this even though she's been excluded because her blood loss is gross or wrong or dangerous. By faith, she takes something that she does not think she can ask for, but it works. What she does works. She is powerful here. Not despised, rejected, or excluded when Jesus turns and sees her. That's literally all he is doing in this whole gospel. I don't know if you really caught that word see. I see you. I saw you. Shows up all the time. Seeing people is one of his most profound acts of mercy through all the stories, that he sees people, no matter what everyone else assumes and thinks. He can see their shining light right through the terrible choices and relentless pain. It's astounding. It's a practice. And yet, this is a power that all of us wield. And this power is certainly honed and mastered by following Jesus. Watch him do it. He does it over and over. The icon of mercy. The profoundly healing and simple act of authentically seeing another person as she is, as she wants to be, worthy, wonderful, and whole, and calling her not a slur or an insult, but her name in the family. Her name is daughter. It is June, which means it is Pride Month. The woman with the hemorrhage here is a powerful story that we may need to hear in light of other folks in our community, or other communities for whom her exclusion has also been true. We have many queer siblings in faith who knew that they were worthy of holy community, deserving of God's attention and healing, and found a secret way of coming up suddenly and taking the blessing that they needed as LGBTQ plus people in a society that long told them that they were abhorrent, disgusting, unacceptable in their bodies or desires. Queer people in faith who could not come to the churches they grew up in as adults and be included in full membership if they also wanted to live a full, proud life. They figured out a way, by faith, to take the blessing they needed from their tradition. People of faith like Father George Hyde, who, recognizing the need for an inclusive spiritual environment, started the Eucharistic Catholic Church movement in a hotel lobby in Atlanta in 1946. And Troy Perry, who could not openly practice as a gay man called to ministry in the Pentecostal church. So he brought 12 people together in his living room in 1968 and started the largest grassroots movement in LGBTQ history. The MCC Church still exists. These people from our recent church past who needed to come through the crowd from behind suddenly and reach for Jesus' garment because they were not allowed to approach any other way. There are so many others. The woman in our story was blessed by Jesus for taking what she needed in faith when her church, her family, her community would not give it to her. In faith. What kind of faith is that? It's Abraham, who had faith that he would be the father of nations. He's got one wife. She's old. He's what we call him? Near dead. And she's barren. That's crazy. That is crazy. Is that faith or is that crazy? Who cares? Who cares? This woman in our story was publicly and openly affirmed for doing what she did, which she was not supposed to do. That's the faith of Abraham. It matters for her to hear this out loud. He calls her daughter as her public ally, as her first identity before God. And it matters for everyone around her to hear this too. Just as a side note, she's daughter. So again, because it's Pride Month, I'll just add that back when I was having trouble dealing with people's pronouns or whatever my struggle was, my daughter Helen finally cut through a long conversation and just said, "Mom, why can't you just call people what they want to be called? Why can't you just call people what they want to be called? Why is that hard? What does she want to be called? Daughter. Why can't we just call people what they want to be called? What would that be like?" So there's no scandal. There's no confusion about where her healing comes from. This daughter of no one appears to be just as valued and longed for as the daughter of an important leader of the synagogue. 2 daughters. Both daughters are held in steadfast love. Everyone in this story is blessed by the presence of Jesus in the moment. Everyone. No questions asked. "I desire mercy, not sacrifice," says Jesus, echoing the prophet Hosea. This word mercy, I keep saying eleos. While some Greek words for mercy lean toward an emotional feeling of pity, eleos goes deeper. It is defined as kindness, goodwill, or compassion towards someone in distress, coupled with a strong, active desire to help them. So kindness, goodwill, and compassion, together with a strong, active desire to help someone in distress, that is mercy. The parallel Hebrew word that Jesus is quoting is chesed, which I've talked about here before. It means steadfast love, loyalty. It is a covenantal kindness. It's not be kind because you feel like it. It's be kind because you promised. Be kind because that is the context in which we live our lives. It's a covenant. It's a covenant. All this is to say that Jesus is citing the reliability of God, a God who can be counted on in covenant to show mercy to those he has promised, through covenant to love. No matter what, a covenant is a promise. And if the beloved one is in distress and reaching for connection, all the more so will that promise be kept. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, says Jesus. At least I do not desire sacrifice as a replacement for mercy, for inclusion, for setting aside thinking and standing still to listen, to see, to really see the God-given, God-reflecting, shining light in every single person that God wonderfully and fearfully made. This is what the prophet Hosea means by steadfast love. Jesus didn't sit down to eat an intimate act with the yuckiest people just to be performative or whatever. It was not simply attention-getting behavior. It was love. It was just love. When we see people out in the world with their rainbow flags or their glitter or their voices or their bodies walking in a joyous parade, it's not simply for the sake of display. It says, we are here and we know we deserve to be seen and loved, and we are. And God knows it and we know it. And do you want to come over here and have fun with us and know it too? On June 20th, Reverend Amy's going to be handing out glitter blessings. I feel like everybody needs to get in line for that. It's fun. It's fun. Because you're beloved, and so am I. And if I'm beloved, then so are you. The Episcopal Church has been formally advocating for the full inclusion of LGBTQ plus people for half a century. It's not new. It's not a trend. Landmark resolutions passed in 1976 formally affirmed that our queer siblings are children of God with a full and equal claim upon the love and pastoral care of the church. The journey toward radical inclusion has grown progressively over the decades, with the canons explicitly prohibiting discrimination based on sexual orientation in ordination in 1994, and the allowance of same-sex couples to be married in the church in 2015. Here at Grace, we have a sweet little pride flag right at the front of the door there when you walk in. Welcome. All are welcome at our table, we say. And we mean it because God means it. We do it because Jesus did it. Follow me, he said. Your faith has made you well. How does faith make things possible? Faith is deep and profound trust. It is Abraham. It is Sarah. It is confidence in the reliability of God and the conviction that you belong. The word faith is used over 240 times in the New Testament because it is a foundational component of the followers of the way. That's what the early church called itself. Not Christians, just followers of the way. It is a total reliance on a power greater than our own egos and personal resources, greater than our fears and our failings, and it's certainly greater than our shame. If you have this faith, you literally have everything you need. The woman with a 12-year hemorrhage, she does not belong. She's been cast out, unclean. She reaches for Jesus by faith, deep trust in a reliable God. The man with a dying daughter, he can't keep pretending with a broken heart. He will take himself out of the circle he is in and go looking for Jesus by faith, deep trust in a reliable God. Jesus makes a circle wide enough for the brokenhearted and the bleeding, those who are unclaimed, deemed unclean or unworthy. No one is outside the embrace of the steadfast love of God. Your faith has saved you. You have everything you need. You are everything you need. The kingdom of heaven is within you, Jesus says. Follow me, sit at this table with me. The activity of your faith, your faithing, if we can turn it into a verb, has saved you, has made you well. No matter who you are, or what you have done or not done, or who has ever told you that you cannot come inside or cannot come home, follow me. Where are we going? We are going to practice mercy, which is kindness and a willingness to suffer alongside someone in distress with an active desire to help them. We are going to show others the reliability of the love of God. Your faith has made you well. You are welcome here. All are welcome. The last time I was standing here, I closed my sermon with a blessing from the Black Rock Prayer Book by Reverend Brian Baker, and I'm going to offer that blessing again. The world now is too dangerous and too beautiful for anything but love. May your eyes be so blessed you see God in everyone. Your ears so you hear the cry of the poor. May your hands be so blessed that everything you touch is a sacrament. Your lips so you speak nothing but the truth with love. May your feet be so blessed you run to those who need you. And may your heart be so opened, so set on fire, that your mercy, your love, changes everything. Amen.
Amen.